Hi everybody, my name is Dustin, also go by the online alias of Bosk, and I'm here to talk about my 2025 Click Team PixelCRAM Game Jam entry, Boogs and Beans. A little bit of a weird name, but you'll hopefully understand a little bit more in a moment. But I really wanted to make something that was kind of in the vein of like the 16-bit era game systems, like the Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, some of those like kind of 90s arcade games. I've always been a big fan of arcade games, and so I've always wanted to kind of make my own that was something similar in the vibes of those arcade games, but you know, its own unique thing. So I made this, and I'm pretty happy with it. So I'll go ahead and show off a little bit of gameplay here, so you guys can get kind of an idea of what the game is, and then I'm going to go over some things that I'm pretty happy with in this that I developed for this game. I'm not going to go over everything in the game, unfortunately. There's too much to really kind of talk about everything in a 15-minute video, but I do want to at least go over some of the things that really I feel like helped me out the most, and some of the things I've learned over the past like couple of years in my game dev journey. So I'll go ahead and play the game a little bit for you here so you can see what it is, and then we can talk a little bit more about it afterwards. I got the sound turned down a little bit, so you know it's not so blaring. But in the full version, you can change your the settings to however you want. So it's pretty basic startup screen. You know, you got your high scores, obviously your settings. Like I said, I've got volume turned down a little bit here. I've got an auto turn setting in the game. You'll see a little bit more about what that is in a moment. But basically, since this project is going to be for mobile devices, I included an auto turn setting. So that way, when your character hits a wall, they'll automatically turn and go the next direction. It's something that's kind of like more helpful just for mobile controls. But on PC, I don't really like having it on. Anyway, we'll go ahead and get started in the game. You got two modes. You got arcade mode, which is a kind of a planned layout system where it just kind of you play through a series of stages in a row. They're all the same. They're predetermined, and it's the same stages in a row. Whereas chaos mode is a little bit more hectic, and it's a random stages every time you play it. So this is the basic layout of the game. You got these little bugs that walk around the field, and you have a whole big field that you can run around in. You control the little white bunny in the center of the screen, and you've got a time limit that you need to finish the stage by. The gold percentage that's on the side here says 50%. You have to, whenever you walk on a space, you plant down little bean sprouts. So your goal is to fill up the screen with bean sprouts, if you can. If you can't fill the whole screen up by the time by the time limit, then if you can at least fill up 50% of the screen, then you will succeed. The little bugs do not pose any threat to you. They'll go around and eat your bean sprouts, but you can just kick them out of the arena. And if you collect these little things in the middle, this right here is a little barricade, you can actually use it to board up one of the entry holes.
Time up.
When you finish a level, it gives you a little meter to show how much you did. You need to get 50%. We got 79.8. And when you finish a level, you move on to the next round. As you noticed probably in the last round, the bugs do respawn. After a certain period of time, they will come back out of their bushes. They'll respawn. So you have to kind of keep up on them. This is a different power-up. This one gives you a little speed boost, so you can fly through the arena really fast. But you can clear the stage like that, and then instead of it giving you a meter to show how much you did, you get a time bonus. So clearing the stage gets you a lot more points, but in later levels it does become more hard, so your goal becomes more to focus on the actual goal. As the stages go on, obviously it gets a little harder. There's more bugs on the screen. They spawn faster. The areas get a little bit crazier. There are bonus rounds and stuff as well as you go through. So yeah, I mean, this is just kind of the basic thing I wanted to talk about, or show off at least, so you guys understand what the concept of the game is. We can exit out of the game, and I can show you a little bit what I wanted to talk about in terms of development. So one of the things that was really helpful to me in this, and something I've been using a lot lately in my game development, is stage generation. So years ago, I'm trying to think of when this video was uploaded. This is the video I'm referring to. This was in 2022, January 1st. ClickTeam did a 30-minute game jam, I believe, where they tasked people to record themselves making a game in 30 minutes. And this one here was the one that stood out to me the most, because I feel like I'm still a developing developer. I'm not going to say that I'm great at programming and stuff. I'm still learning a lot of stuff. So watching this video back in the day, or back in 2022, really helped me, because this video shows how to make a level generation system. And I really liked the method that the person used in it. They weren't using an array. They were just using a simple small graphic, and I'll show you that here in just a moment. But I'll leave a link down to this video below, so that way if anybody wants to reference this and watch this, you can. I do believe the example for this was somewhere on here. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's gone away since then. But this was super helpful to me. And basically what it is this is my level generation system that I used, and it's very much so inspired by that video of the FFFF game that I watched back then. So like, here's the first stage that we just played. You guys can see that here. All the green trails that I've got here are the main pathways that you can walk on. And then all the red stuff is the bushes and the environmental stuff. And what I've done with this generation system is I basically just made this little tiny 26 by 20 graphic that's responsible for the level. And then each pixel is a specific color, and that color tells the engine what to do with that space. So this one here, just pure red 25500, is going to be the big bushes. If there's any of the small bushes, like these ones here, these are 25501, and so on and so forth. And it's got all the information for where the different bugs spawn as well. So we've got like our bug spawn positions here. You can see here how their color is 255 green, 1 blue, and then you can see the number for the red changes as we go to different bugs. Each of the bug colors has a different color variable here. So basically that's it. Like, that's each of these stages is just a small, simple image. They're all just very, very tiny, again, 26 by 20 pixel images. And then in the event editor here, get rid of all this stuff here. Basically, it's real simple to do. Like, this is not a hard thing to do. What you're gonna do is you just create, you just start a loop where you start you do a stage generation. I don't know if I can show this. This is going to be a lot of stuff that's in here, because there's a lot more extra stuff in here that you guys don't need to know about when you're doing this, at least when you're making your own stuff. But yeah, basically I just started a loop where it goes through and it does a loop generate stage. We start another loop inside that one for every for the amount of pixels high that the sprite is. So our image is 26 by 22. So we would start a while loop 20 times. And then in the while loop, we start an X loop, the amount of times for the width of the image. And basically what it does on each generation, or on each loop of the X, we're just setting I had 3 variables that I set up, where I set the current red, green, and blue to whatever the red, green, and blue value is of the current pixel that we're in the loop of. So it just like that way we can basically get information from each pixel. And then from then on, like I've got a little object, this little stage generation object I made. You can do whatever you want with it, obviously. Basically what this generation object does is each frame of the loop, it goes to each new space on the grid. It goes to the new space. It finds out what that pixel color is in this image here. And then it places down an object based on whatever I tell it to do with that pixel color. So it just kind of goes through the entire stage really fast, generates the whole entire level, and we're done. Super easy to set up. I've done it before in other projects, and like this one's a little bit more complex because I have a bunch of other things in here, like, you know, specific bushes only spawning for specific levels or difficulties and stuff. But if you just want to generate a level, like I can usually get all this done in probably like 5, 6 events. Like it does not take long. The other aspect of it that I did was that, so with the environmental stuff here is that, you know, we've got our regular bush with the small bush, and then we've got the bush with where the bugs can spawn from. And you'll see here in the level thing, again, all environmental things are with the 255 level color. And this one is 0, 0. Where we go with the small bushes, they're 0, 1. And then the bug spawn bushes are 0, 2. And so basically what it does, again, is it's picking up, it picks up the color of it. If the current red is 255 and the current blue, again, you can just make this whatever, but if the current blue is basically any color, it creates our environment thing there, and then it sets the animation frame to whatever the value of the blue is. So that way you can have multiple different stage graphics, and you can pick and choose and put them in however you want to for the for the stage graphics. Anyway, I'm not going to go too long on that, but I just wanted to kind of describe that, like a stage generation system is not that hard. I used to be really afraid of it. I thought it'd be really, really complicated. When I watched that video for that game back in 2022, and it really, really helped me out. So if you're interested in stage generation or anything, or if it's something you don't know how to do, I would definitely recommend giving that a watch. It was super duper useful for me, and I've kind of developed it and expanded on it over the years of using it myself. The other thing I wanted to talk about was that this is, and I know this is going to sound really dumb because there's a lot of people out there, especially more advanced programmers, that know these things. But this is the first project that I've really been doing that uses a lot of heavy sine and cosine movements. I don't know why. I never understood them before, and I never used them that heavily. But even something as simple as the cursor on the screen here, the little bouncing cursor, that's using sine movement, or cosine movement, excuse me. And it's like, it's super easy to, like, once you get the hang of it and you know what you're doing, I can do so many cool things with sine and cosine now. Like if we go in here and go to the arcade mode and start it up, these letters that fly in and spin around like that, that's all just sine and cosine movement. And I wish I would have known this stuff beforehand. So a big recommendation from me is that if you have yet to learn sine and cosine movement, how they work, how they function, and the math behind them, trust me, it is not as scary as it seems, but I highly, highly recommend learning it because you can do so many cool things with sine and cosine, making making things move around. Like even if we go in here and go to the levels, like these little guys, them moving out that's a pre-programmed thing. But like the little bonus item that floats here, that's even like a sine and cosine movement. So it's like, it's like everything that I programmed into the game that uses those feels really good to do. And if you, again, it's just a recommendation. If you haven't learned sine and cosine, I highly recommend it. It's really good. And then the last thing I want to talk about, I don't want to go too much longer because we're almost at the 15-minute mark. The last thing that I really put into this game that I enjoy a lot and I have grown very fond of using is the combination of list objects and the string parser object. So again, if you are still learning Fusion, if you don't know those things, for people obviously who know this stuff, you know, this is probably just, you already know these things and it's not that big of a deal for you. But for people who don't know this stuff, I highly recommend using the string parser object in conjunction with list objects. So for my difficulty settings for the levels, and how many bugs and stuff can be in there, this is all the information for the levels. So I know it looks really confusing. It looks like a big jumble of numbers and stuff like that. But with the string parser object, what the string parser object does is you can set a character and essentially use that character as a breaking point. So when you use the string parser object, it will load this entire string in. So it'll load this entire line into it. And then wherever you can tell the string parser that, hey, whenever there is a colon, use that as a breaking point. And when it knows what the breaking point is, then it can section off each one of these things into a separate value. So I've got right here, I've got what the time is for the stage. I've got, what your goal is for the stage. And then these 8 values here are for the bugs, how many of them spawn and how many of them start on the stage. The different levels. This is the respawn timer. This is the player speed, the bug speed, and then these are the 4 items that will spawn during the round. And so all of the information for how the stage plays is in this one little line of text. And then I just kind of expanded on it to every stage having I could have it be like a procedural system or something like that, but I just wanted to kind of pre-program everything in. But yeah, so basically what I do is I just load this line into the string parser object. I have the string parser break it down based on where the colons are, and then I load each of these values into separate alterable values in the game engine itself, and then I just pull from those as the game goes on. So again, another one of those things that if you're learning Fusion, if you're kind of developing in Fusion and you don't use the list objects or the string parser object, they were a huge game changer for me. So it's a big thing. So if you want to kind of level up your game in Fusion, I would highly recommend using these 2 objects. I'm trying to think of anything else that's really like big in here that I want to talk about. Obviously, I've gone over my 15-minute amount, but there's a lot to this game. It doesn't look like a whole lot, but like I said, I've programmed in a bunch of stages, a bunch of different conditions. There's bonus rounds. There's an ending screen. There's high score screens. So it's I had a lot of fun working on this. It's and I feel like it's one of the I don't know. I'm definitely very proud of it because I feel like over the past year or so, I've learned a lot in Fusion. I learned a lot of things like with string parser, like with this object here, with sine and cosine. So I feel like a lot of those little things have really leveled up my programming game. So I felt like this was one of the first projects I've made in a while that was really I don't know, pretty comprehensive and pretty well done. So I'm proud of it. And I mean, if you have any questions, please feel free to post down below or ask me. I'll be happy to answer any of those. But like I said, there's a lot more stuff in here that I don't have time to really kind of go over, like the movement engines, the high score stuff, and all that other jazz. But I'll just leave it at this for now. If you got this far, thank you for watching. I appreciate it, and I hope to see everybody's games in the Game Jam. All right, later.